55 seconds, a moment so small, it usually slips past unnoticed. But for Niki Lauda, 55 seconds became a lifetime. 55 seconds where he wasn't just fighting for a championship. He was fighting for breath, fighting for consciousness, fighting for the right to live one more second. Because in those 55 seconds, Formula One's reigning world champion came face to face with death and refused to bow. This is the story of the day Formula One burned, and a legend was reborn from the flames. Before the fire, before the scars, before the legend, there was simply Niki Lauda, a man carved from discipline. He wasn't charismatic, wasn't glamorous, didn't care for fame or drama. If anything, Lauda was the opposite of a star, blunt, cold, uncompromising. The kind of man who would tell you the truth even when nobody asked. But that's exactly why Ferrari wanted him. Niki wasn't born talented. He engineered himself into greatness. Every lap was a calculation, every risk weighed, every decision precise. This was the man entering the 1976 season, the reigning champion, the fastest driver on the grid, and the only one who truly understood the price of speed. Yet even he couldn't predict what the season had in store. James Hunt, the glamorous, charming rock star of Formula One. A man who partied as hard as he drove. A man adored by fans, loved by the media, and feared by those who shared a track with him. Lauda, meanwhile, was the complete opposite. Reserved, rational, almost clinical. Hunt raced with emotion. Lauda raced with intelligence. And somehow, in their rivalry, defined the season. By the halfway point, Lauda was destroying the competition. 61 points. A massive lead, Hunt a distant challenger. But destiny didn't care for numbers. Destiny was waiting on a track older than the sport itself, the Nürburgring Nordschleife. A name whispered, never spoken loudly. A track feared even by the bravest. 14 miles, 160 corners, blind crests, narrow roads, deep forests, minimal safety barriers. One small mistake, and you're gone. Every driver knew the danger, but Lauda felt it more deeply than anyone. He fought for months to have the race canceled. He warned everyone, the track is too long. The fire crews are too slow. If something happens out there, no one will reach us in time. They didn't listen. So on August 1st, 1976, the drivers lined up one more time in the heart of the green hell. A light rain fell before the start, the kind that tricks you, the kind that lies. Lauda gambled on rain tires. It was the wrong choice. After one lap, he switched to slicks. But slicks need heat, and they weren't ready. As Lauda approached Bergwerk, his Ferrari snapped sideways. A violent twitch, a fraction of a second, and then impact. The car hit the embankment at nearly 200 kilometers per hour. The right side tore open, fuel exploded, and the world turned orange. Inside the cockpit, Lauda was conscious as the fire swallowed him whole. What happened next is burned, literally, into F1 history. Drivers saw flames before they saw the wreck. Brett Lunger arrived first, slamming into the burning Ferrari. The collision cost seconds. Seconds Lauda could not afford to lose. One marshal, one tiny fire extinguisher, a fireball too big to tame. Harold Ertl joined the fight. Nothing worked. And then Arturo Merzario, a man who ignored every instinct of survival and dived into the inferno. He reached into the flames, felt the burning metal, and unlocked Lauda's harness by hand. Niki was screaming, trying to escape. When he finally passed out, I freed him. By the time they dragged him out, Lauda had spent 55 seconds cooking inside a furnace. His helmet had melted, his face was gone, his lungs filled with toxic fumes. But he was alive, barely. Lauda was flown to Mannheim. His condition worsened by the hour. The world watched helplessly. Doctors prepared for the worst. A priest was called. They read him his last rites. But on the third day, through swollen eyes, Lauda woke up. And with the dry humor only a man who defied death could muster, he said, "Tell the priest, I'm still alive." Weeks later, Lauda asked a nurse, "When can I look in the mirror?" She said anytime. She shouldn't have. The moment he saw his reflection, his head dropped from shock. Burns, melted skin, missing ear, no eyelids. Most people would crumble, but Lauda didn't care about the scars. He only cared about one thing. When can I race again? Ferrari had already hired a replacement. To Lauda, that was betrayal, so he flew his own plane to Fiorano, scars still fresh, blood still seeping, and asked for the car. He was pale, hairless, eyes unable to close, bandages wrapped tight. Daniele Audetto, Ferrari's team manager, said, "He looked like a ghost." But a ghost got in the car and proved he was faster than a living man. Lauda returned to racing just 33 days after nearly dying. At Monza, he finished fourth, a result more impressive than any victory of his career. The final race in Fuji, a monsoon, visibility near zero, pain near unbearable. Lauda's tear ducts were damaged. Rain hit his eyes like needles. He couldn't blink, couldn't see, couldn't survive the full race. So he made the bravest choice a driver can make. He parked the car. James Hunt became champion, but the world didn't celebrate Hunt's win. The world celebrated Lauda's courage. Because championships define drivers, but choices define men. 1 year later, Lauda won the World Championship again. 7 years later, he won a third. A man who once lay on the edge of death stood on top of the world 3 times. His legacy? Not just victories, not just talent, but safety reforms, standards, changes that protect drivers even today. Changes paid for with blood, fire, and 55 seconds in hell. Niki Lauda passed away in 2019, his lungs forever damaged by the fumes he inhaled on that horrific day. But legends don't disappear. They become part of the sport's DNA. And no matter how many years pass, those 55 seconds will echo through Formula One forever. If you felt this story, check out our other deep dive documentaries here on Motorsport Minds. Some will inspire you, some will shock you, and some aren't this heartbreaking.